This vehicle creates an emotion. It probably does with you as well. It's about performance and luxury, and we're gonna take it for a drive. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix. This vehicle is pretty sexy. You gotta admit, in flare yellow, it stands out in the crowd, but it also stands out in the crowd in a lot of other ways because it's about styling, it's performance, it's dynamic, and if you've seen our coupe review, you saw my opinion, but I might have changed my opinion when it comes to the convertible. Which is better, the convertible or the hardtop? Well, it's not just about the price, it's about what this vehicle offers and its dynamics in comparison to the coupe. We'll take it for a drive, we'll give you some Car Coach Reports ratings, so if you are interested in one of these or you're just an enthusiast like many people are, you'll know what to expect before you take one for a test drive, whether you buy it today or you buy it 10 years from now. If this is your first time to the channel, we bring you great car information, car smarts, and information that can save you a lot of money, and we have a lot of fun along the way. Make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell so you don't miss anything. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to take this thing for a drive. Under the hood is a 5-liter naturally aspirated engine with 471 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque, and this puppy weighs 4,540 pounds. So it has a lot of get up and go, but it also has some weight behind it using a dual clutch automatic transmission. Now when it comes to the bracing that you see in front, this triangulation, it's needed with a convertible, but it's also important to keep those tires on the ground, and this suspension is designed for that. So this is a pretty impressive engine. Fuel economy, well, who really cares? Somewhere around 15 miles to the gallon, but if you can afford this car, whatever. All right, 0 to 60 is 4.6 seconds, and the top speed is 168 miles per hour. This is electronically controlled. We are not doing 168 miles an hour on the street or on this track that I'm on. We're just gonna show you the launch so you can get a feel what it's like. Hopefully you're not drag racing on the street. So here we go in Sport Plus mode, because that's the only one that makes sense. We're gonna put our foot into it, and here it goes. One of the things I noticed right away was a little lag before all that torque got in and gave you that push. A little bit less than I would expect, and you would think if it's an LC 500, why is there not 500 horsepower? Just give it that extra horsepower. If it had 500 horsepower, it would just make it even more exciting. But as far as performance, overall, based on a lot of 5-liter engines I've driven, it earned a 9. That's in normal mode. I still love the sound of the exhaust. It just is really nice. It's a nice touch for this vehicle, and you only get that sound from a V8 engine unless it's manufactured, and that I'm not happy about. So we're looking at handling. It's about the comfort of the ride in comfort mode. When you put it into Sport and to Sport Plus, it tightens up all the suspension, and then the ride is not necessarily as comfortable, but you can feel the differences instantly in the suspension, in the steering. Everything tightens up and says, I'm ready to have a spirited ride. When you're driving a vehicle like this, you probably want to have a spirited ride almost all the time. And I really am impressed with the overall handling of this vehicle. Stiffening it up because it's a convertible actually makes it handle better than the coupe version. This vehicle is more on the luxurious side than it is on the performance side. Yes, it has performance characteristics, but when you're looking at handling as a whole and you're comparing it to like the Jaguar and other vehicles that are in this category that truly are designed to be a performance vehicle, not a luxury performance vehicle, that's one of the differences between this vehicle and some of the others. When it came to handling, it earned an 8. Safety is an important feature when it comes to a convertible, obviously, but one of the features I cannot show you, but you have to trust me that it's here because we have to trust Lexus that it's there, is if something happens, God forbid, and the vehicle rolls over, there is a roll bar that will activate to protect the passengers. So for safety, it earned a 10. For visibility, you think it would be an easy 10 because it's a convertible. But in reality, you've got that long front nose because you have a V8 engine here, and this is very typical of sports coupes. In addition to that, you've got this limited distance of vision out the front. The sills are kind of high, and that does make some restrictions. Out the back is obviously pretty easy. You got your rear view mirror, you've got your backup camera, which is kind of small considering, and it's not as open as you would expect from a Lexus product. When it comes to visibility, it earned an 8. I always say when it comes to seating, it is the most important feature of the car. Even though for me it's engines and performance and safety, seating is important because this is where you sit, and this is the one feature that I always tell people you have to be comfortable in this car because it is never ever going to get more comfortable the longer that you own it. And that's kind of a duh obvious, but people buy vehicles all the time and they get in and say how uncomfortable they are in the driver's seat. Well, then you bought the wrong car, so don't be afraid to walk away if whatever vehicle you're looking at is not comfortable. Now, this vehicle does have four-way lumbar. It has nice side bolsters for support. It has bolsters across the back. It has air-cooled or ventilated seats as well as heated seats. That's important. I do like the vent in back for heating your neck. That's a feature, but that's not actually part of seating comfort, although it's part of being a comfortable passenger. The one thing that's important is that this vehicle has the same on the driver's seat as it does on the passenger seat, and that's really important because a lot of times you'll buy a vehicle, and I've said this in the past, that the driver's and passenger seat don't have the same. Well, in this case, it should, and it better for the price point that it's in. So for seating, it is missing a few minor features, but it does deserve a 9. There's a lot of technology in this vehicle, and one of the things I like about it is the fact that they've really gone out of their way to put the best of Lexus out there. Part of that technology is making it, they claim, quiet in here. I might. So if you can't hear me, that's part of the technology that's supposed to keep things quiet in the cabin so you can have a conversation with your passenger. There's also a little wind deflector in back, and that matches in with the audio system, so they try to cancel out some of the outside noise so you have a quieter cabin. That's some cool technology, as well as the vehicle itself has a lot of technology. So when I'm grading this vehicle for technology, the one big hit that is super frustrating on the Lexus lineup, and I know they're going to make changes down the road, but this is what they have now, and they got to get their money's worth, is this touchpad. Now, maybe some of you like it. If you do, let me know. Put the comments down below. But this touchpad I find frustrating. I want to touch the screen, but you want to touch it, but you're touching a piece of glass in front of it. But there's other cool technology, but it only earned an 8. There are a lot of great options available for this vehicle, but when you're looking at features as a whole, what you're getting at this price point, they've added pretty much everything Lexus has. The best of Lexus, I would call it. And they've done a nice job. There's some really interesting features. I like the fact that you can reach all these controls. I'm not the biggest fan of this knob being here. Is that a deal breaker? No. Is it frustrating? No. It just looks different when you have one on each side. It's almost like an Ewok, if you remember that from Star Wars. For features, this vehicle is pretty well appointed, and it earned a 9. 15 seconds to put the top down. Goes through a whole procedure. And it's got a hard cover on the back, which does protect the soft top from getting damaged from the sun. And then to go back up, and it shows you the full procedure in front of you on the gauge, 16 seconds. And this can go up to 31 miles an hour. You can put that top up or down. 16 seconds, and boom, you can put your windows up if needed. And the procedure is now officially complete. When it comes to design of the Lexus LC 500 convertible, I actually like this grille. Now on the coupe, I didn't like it. I don't know why, it just had a different effect. But on the convertible, it really looks great. Love the aluminum trim across the bottom, and this is the most prominent thing you see. We took it to a Cars and Coffee, and people really love the effect of the bright yellow and the gray. Now there's different colors, obviously you can get pearl white, and there's a bunch of wonderful colors, but this flare yellow really stood out in the crowd and made it look more exotic. One of the design elements that really stands out with Lexus in general, but really stands out with the LC 500, is this really cool lighting signature. So not just the DRLs, the daytime running lights, but the effect of what this vehicle looks like makes it very sporty and sexy. Our test vehicle has the 21-inch optional wheels, which I really love. They're alloy, and again, they go along with the style and design and creating an emotion like the rest of the vehicle. It has 6-piston Brembos in front on 15-inch disc brakes, and this is needed to stop this pretty heavy sports car. One of the coolest design elements is the door handle. Yes, it's integrated. We've seen this before in a lot of other vehicles, but it makes it more aerodynamic. When you hit the unlock button, what it does is it pushes the door handle out, and of course it goes back in once you take off. When you pull this out, the door opens. When you close the vehicle or you take off, the door handle goes smooth. You might notice this vent just in front of the rear wheels. It's functional and it helps cool the rear brakes. Some of the design details on this vehicle are pretty impressive. I love the hard cover over the soft top because it actually protects the vehicle's convertible top. You may not know this, but a lot of the older cars, you'll see the inside of the top getting damaged because of sun. So to protect that and to keep the wind noise down, they put a hard cover over the top. There's a flare along the back. It's sort of a spoiler to help keep the rear end down at speed. And this vehicle can go up to 160 miles an hour, so you want to make sure to keep those tires down on the ground. I like the taillights. They're pretty neat. Their design is great. Everything's LED. And then, of course, you make your way back to the rear, and you've got 2 exhaust pipes. And the sound of this vehicle is really impressive. So for design, I gave it a 10. When it comes to quality, you can really tell that Lexus has stepped up their game on this. Not that they've ever had bad quality, but they have amazing quality on top of their already phenomenal build quality. From the Lexus materials to the real stitching to the soft touch of everything. Just the way they built everything, the details are pretty impressive. You can't say anything negative about this. So when it comes to quality, it is an absolute 10. Coming around to the back of the vehicle, we'll take a look in the trunk. Is that an important part of this car? Maybe just for a duffel bag or a set of clubs or whatever you're bringing with you on a trip. But the trunk size doesn't change whether the top is up or down, and that is a positive. When you're looking at this vehicle as a whole, there are some things that don't make sense, and there's a lot of content that is really impressive, and I'm actually liking this convertible. So for value, considering this vehicle starts at $101,000, our test vehicle is around $115,000, I had to give it a 9 for this category, not for all vehicles in total. When you're looking at all 10 categories combined, from performance to handling, technology, seating comfort, literally everything that makes up this Lexus LC 500 convertible, I was pretty impressed. When you're looking at this vehicle as a whole, it does have a few competitors, not that many. This is a consideration of people who might be buying a Jaguar F-Type convertible, but they're saying maybe a BMW 8 Series, but that's a hardtop. So there are some other convertibles in this category, but there's also some cross-shopping going on with some exotic cars or more luxury high-end cars. So overall, when you're looking at the total of all 10 categories combined, it got a total score of 90. And now the answer to the question, do I like the convertible more than the coupe? Actually, I do. Typically, I'm not a convertible owner. I have owned convertibles in the past. But this vehicle is really a lot of fun. And when we took it to a Cars and Coffee event, we had a lot of people asking questions. There was a lot of features about this car that was really impressive. They're not making a lot of these, so this will make it rarer and harder to own, but I have a feeling that dealers are not going to be giving it to you at the window sticker price. So if you're looking for one of these vehicles, you might want to wait or get in line as quick as you can at your local Lexus dealer. If you got value from this video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss some of the other totally cool cars we have coming your way. Not just daily drivers, but great information and car smarts. Put your comments down below. Do you like it? Do you like the color? Do you like the hardtop or the convertible? I put my vote in on the convertible, but I want to hear what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.